Okay, so to make this barcode scanning app, well, we need to start with the basics, like in terms of what do we need in the UI. I told you we were going to be scanning some barcodes and then we wanted to display some info about them. So maybe the first thing that we should start with is getting a button that can open the scanning function, which is performed with the device camera. So we'll drag here a button and then we'll make the button label a bit more descriptive. So scan barcode. And I'll be hitting the save a lot so we can see the things updating. Okay, so this button, by the way, is already like we can click it, but nothing happens. And before we get into the what happens part, then the other part was that we wanted to show some info about the product that we scanned. And at this point, I just want to lay it out here so that we have it in the layout. So I'm just gonna put like we don't know yet actually like what sort of data we'll be getting and how it's going to look, but I'll just put a couple of paragraphs here to represent that eventually we'll have some data about the product here. So that's just some setup so that we remember we'll be replacing these with the product information a bit later. Okay, so I just very quickly showed you about the logic canvas. And now the first question is like, how do we get forward with this button and the logic for it? Well, we select the button and then we go here in the bottom and here it says add logic to button 1. So we'll open that up. And in here, we see that on the canvas by default, there's a single event node, which is called component tap. And what this means is that this is an event when that happens whenever the button is tapped or clicked. And then here you can see that there's this little endpoint for this particular node, so we can connect further stuff. And in the intro, I showed you how we connected an alert box there, and then it gave us the like little alert dialog whenever we click the button. So, but now we're gonna look into the logic library and we need something bit different. There's a couple of nodes on the device section. We could take a photo and we can also get a GPS location. And there's quite a few different things here, but also handily, we have a kind of out-of-the-box scan QR or barcode functionality. So we just simply go here on the left, and then we drag it onto the canvas. And now we can go ahead and connect this to the component tap event. So now when the button is tapped, it goes into this scan QR or barcode node. And here it actually gives us a few options for the node. So if I click on the event, you can see that the properties here on the properties panel change. And if I click on the scan QR barcode node, then the properties are for that particular node. And you can also, from the read more section, you can find out a bit more how the flow function node actually works. So this one works so that it opens the camera to scan a QR or barcode, and then depending on what the user does, so there's a couple of things that can happen. The user can scan a code, in which case we get the code back, or then the user might close the camera without scanning code, in which case we go to the second output of the node. And if there's some sort of error, usually from the device, or the camera crashes or something happens, something weird happens in the device, then the error is sent to the third output. And the outputs we can see here on the node. There's 3 outputs. So the top one will contain the barcode if a barcode was scanned, and the middle one will be the canceling operation, and then finally the third one will be the error case, which shouldn't really happen, but can happen. Okay, so if I save now, we can already use this. So if I open the camera here, oh, sorry, pump a little bit. So I've assembled some products here on my table, and now we can see that I have this can of tomatoes. Hello, Italy. And if I just show it the barcode, it exits the camera because it read the barcode, and now it's done with it. But of course, okay, so now we can scan barcodes, but nothing happened yet, and that's of course because we're not doing anything with our barcode. So once again, just to demonstrate how all of this works, we can put an alert dialog here. Just move it over there. And now to get the barcode output from this node to the alert node, we'll use something that is used quite a lot in Composer almost everywhere, which is bindings. So you last time we saw this, I just typed in something in the dialog title, but that's of course not all we can do. So here's this ABC icon, and it says when I hover there, currently bound to static text, which means that it's bound to whatever is typed here. Now, this binding icon means that this can be bound to quite a number of other things. And if I click it, it opens up the binding editor. And there's a few categories of things we can now bind this alert dialog to. One is data and variables. One is a formula, which we'll be seeing at the end of this presentation. There's component properties, but then this one is for us the most interesting right now, output value of another node. So if we go navigate in here, we can actually see that it knows about the nodes on this particular logic canvas. So the receive event node refers to the component tap event, and then the scan QR barcode node refers to the node that we put there. So if we select this one, we can select the node output. There might be multiple ones, but in this case, there is only one. So what the node will return us is the QR or barcode content as text, as it says there. And we click on that, and then it gives us an opportunity to save. So now the dialog title in this logic flow is bound to the output of this thing. So it's a slightly different thing. So these connections here, they control how the flow operates. So these connections mean that once the component is tapped, then we scan a QR or barcode, and then this being in the top output means that if a barcode was scanned, then we go into the alert dialog. But these values are kind of separate from that. So this binding is what will make this next part work. So I'll save again, and now I'll scan again the tomatoes. It's sometimes yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we got the barcode of the tomato can, which is the series of numbers here.